Praise God.
And if you belong to Christ, who holds the power and the healing abilities, that same power and healing abilities belong to you too. You too also have self-healing abilities and that same power that Christ brought you. Isn't that nice? You should be glad to answer that.
To make a change, because right away, they say, well, I gotta change, right? I gotta make this transformation in my life, right? Exactly how long it's gonna take, because that could be a long process. That process can.
Marcus Hart Transform You Radio Show. The only radio show where you can make real results and start living in your purpose. Visit MarcusHartEnterprises.com. MarcusHartEnterprises.com. Jovantae Phifer, okay? I call him the music guru for a reason, okay? I also identify him as an Iraq War veteran because I know that personally. Me and this guy served hand in hand, arm in arm. We fought the battle together. We was there deployed at the same time under the same brigade. And he's a great person. Very respectable guy, very humbling, very knowledgeable in a lot of different topics. Those top topics being, inspiration. And you know me, I'm an inspirational guy. I embrace people who also embrace inspiration as one of their tools to reach the people. Spirituality. Hey, what can I say about spirituality? Spirituality is needed in a time, lifestyle. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some, but hopefully many, Jovantae Phifer.
Good evening.
Are you
Good
here
evening, Minister Hart. Yeah, I'm here. Can you got me good?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good evening to you. Good evening to Wisconsin, my hometown, my home state, and good evening to anyone listening anywhere in the world. I'd like to just send a great hello. Pretty much now I don't want to take too much time, but I just want to send a great hello. Our time will be taken during the discussion. Oh, no, I was just saying, I thank you for that great introduction. For those that don't know me, and, we did serve in OIF 0607, a little more than a year with the great 121. And that year was a great time in my life. It was very, 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 I would say, uplifting. A lot of people going overseas and having to do that, having to fight the great fight, having to be separated from family and friends, having to just do the stresses that come with being one of the brothers and sisters in the armed forces, But luckily I had some great brothers and sisters around me. I had you and, a few others that we grew close with, and it was just a great time. It was a great learning experience. It was a great experience overall, and, I treasure those times more than I do so a lot of times, good and bad. But, that brought us to where we are now, so to speak. So, I'm just grateful for everything in my life, but that's so much more than a lot of other things.
Amen to that. You definitely speaking some real good wisdom here. And
oh yes.
Yeah, so I know I said a bunch about you, but more specifically, can you tell us a little bit more about you?
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the beginning. I'm going to make it quick. I'm going to make it brief. I'm not going to give my whole 29 years. Of course, I am a 29-year-old man. I was born in Racine, Wisconsin. I graduated from Washington Park High School. I lettered in a few sports, but track was, I was a standout. Immediately after joining high school, 1 week later, I joined the military, the Wisconsin Army National Guard. That following October, I went to train. As soon as I got done with training, in March I went to AIT, came back for 1 month. I was ready to go fight the fight. I was ready to really indulge in my military career. So, that's when I signed up with the unit, the Bravo of the 121. I deployed, and during that time, well, before that time, you know, I've been doing music my whole life. The CEO of the incorporated label I'm on, which is named Utmost Inc. You know, that's an acronym for Universal Thinking Minds of Sound. But he's the one who actually got me into music when I was 9 years old. When we deployed and we started making the music, that was really my first feel for music, per se. You know, actually going to missions, as soon as we were done with missions, coming back, doing the international music that we did, doing the shows that we did. And when I came back home, pretty much for the most part, I was working in aluminum, you know, taking jobs at aluminum factories here and there. You know, I had many diverse jobs, but that was pretty much what I stuck to. And then I had a chance opportunity to join the label Utmost, which was created in 2009 down in Florida. I brought up a Midwest division here. When I got onto the team in 2012, I did such a great job, they wanted me to be the regional president. So in doing that, you know, I got a lot of eyes and ears onto what the team was doing. You know, I worked them hard. I instilled a lot into them. I inspired them. I motivated them. I gave them every piece of ambition. I gave them so much more knowledge that will pertain to music. And in doing so, I linked up with a few other people outside of Wisconsin, down in Illinois and down in Florida, and I became a talent acquisition specialist for a group, BDL for Life ENT. You know, I'm currently the operations manager for Utmost, and I'm currently a talent acquisition specialist for BDL for Life. And outside of that, I've managed for dozens of artists, you know, from the ground up. I basically took them, gave them a format, and showed them a way. Not the way, but I showed them a way to, you know, basically do this. Just live your passion, get into your dream. There's nothing stopping you. You don't need a mainstream contract. You don't need mainstream connects. You don't need a feature with this rapper, you know. You don't need any of that. If you have true passion into it and you putting your heart and soul into it and not just trying to follow the trends like you see all these rappers nowadays who really don't have too much substance in their music, you know. That's what we were doing. We were basically using the music as a message, the way it was supposed to be. And outside of that, you know, I found my I would say my passion as far as 9-to-5s go. You know, I'm currently a laboratory technician at a medical instrument company, you know, and that's working really great for me. I love the job. I love the people. So, you know, I spend my time between those, and of course being a father of 3, you know, I got 3 little ones, the youngest being 3, the oldest being 7. They give me great joy. And yeah, so outside of that, you know, a lot of my time is spent doing a lot of social activism type things, you know, getting out, reaching to people, getting them to be active in our social atmosphere, you know, simply put. And that's where I am now. You know, I'm ready to take it to a brand new horizon in 2016. I'm trying to even change myself. You know, change is constant. You know what I mean? It's a work in progress at all times. So I keep my mind busy. I keep myself busy. I just stay busy. You know, the music is my love. It's a passion. Music is the only thing that a human can do that accesses 100% of the brain, you know, totality of the brain. That has to mean something, and I know it means something to me. So I use the music to keep me going, and I use all of these other things that I love to just really provide substance, provide a strong foundation. So, you know, by the time my kids reach into, you know, their own, you know, they start becoming adolescents and preteen, you know, when they start growing, I hope that the changes I instill will roll over to them. They will take up my work, do greater work of their own, and, you know, just start some changes, because I see so much wrong. As my eyes open more and more, I see so much wrong. So that's pretty much, you know, me in a nutshell.
Definitely, man. You gave us some little nuggets even in your introduction there. We really appreciate that. You know, one thing that stuck out to me, you know, you mentioned your transition, you know, from soldier back into the civilian life, and, you know, it seemed like you got involved in some great things, especially with the music. Now, would you say that was one of the things that really helped you make your transition smooth?
Well, I would say that, you know, transitioning from the military was a strong foundation. It got me ready for a lot in my adult life. You know what I mean? I learned how to follow. I learned how to lead. You know, I learned how to use camaraderie to my advantage. I learned how to, you know, basically boost the morale of my comrades, of myself, you know, and doing these things that I've done, transitioning back into the military, I see all the lessons I've ever learned in life. being presented to me, you know what I mean, as new challenges, as harder challenges. And I would say everything I've ever done has prepared me for where I am now.
Awesome. I love that response. You know, and more people should look back at their experiences and the things they pick up and then apply it in their life like the way you're doing.
Correct. Yeah, I'm actually in 2016. I'm trying to apply it in a major way because, you know, I left out that I am a budding entrepreneur. I have an organization that I started. It's a not-for-profit organization. It's a service-based organization called Modern-Day Pharaohs, and actually that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to return to the era of the pharaohs. You know, with the pharaohs, they care for everyone in the kingdom. Everywhere they could see, anywhere they could survey, they cared for them, and they wanted everyone to be Pharaoh-like in order to access their own divinity that lies within each and every living thing. And there's a lot of components that goes with that business. We'll speak more on that hopefully on a later show. But yeah, that's one business, and the other, which is the sub company of Modern Day Pharaohs, is called the Academy of Consciousness and Autonomy, because that is the end result. I want to create a wave of consciousness and autonomous-like living, where we can provide for ourselves, getting away from being 100% consumers where we rely on all of these places, all of these things that don't really truly want to see us succeed or really don't care either way. Exactly. There's plenty of ways where we can just instill in ourselves, hey, you know what? I have it. I can do it. I can teach this person. This person can teach that person. Without greed, without hatred, envy, all of those things, we can do. Everyone on this planet can do. And, it starts small, which is why I'm pretty much starting within the circles of these businesses and music companies that I work for. But, that's another thing. In 2016, I want to really, really take off with that because I've actually been building that. A lot of people don't know since 2009.
Wow. Definitely real impressive, man. One thing that sticks out to me, that you were talking about was self-reliance. And then I look back over your the four top topics, inspiration, spirituality, lifestyle, and politics. Does that really, apply to not only to your life, but creating that self-reliance for everyone around you too?
Oh, yes. I think that actually may be the most important thing, non-physical. Because I find with a lot of people, it's not truly that they can't do things. You know what I mean? They think that they how can I put this without, keep rambling? They believe that they need certain things. They believe that they need certain people in order. It's like They think, okay, this is how this goes. I'll step here, this person comes in, then I'll take the next step. They always think that there's something missing. No, there's nothing missing. Everything is inside of you. Wow. It's all there already. Hone in on those skills, on those talents. Build and grow more, and you will see that you can grow 10 times stronger than you already believe. You can be self-sufficient to the T. Given anything, you need clothing. You can make clothing yourself. It's so easy to make clothing. You can replicate any type of clothing. You can make your own Jordans, make your own clothing line. Food, you know what I mean? Grow your own food. It's so easy. Go to the grocery store, get a couple of packs of seeds, put some in the ground, grow a couple of trees, Well, trees take thousands of years, but you get where I'm going with this, you know what I mean? Protection, work out, definitely. Keep your body healthy, keep your mind on point. It's so easy to do all of these things yourself. So I do believe self-reliance ties into all of those, and that is one thing people should learn and should know, that it's all within you, Trust yourself first, then you'll be able to rely on yourself.
Wow, man, I'm there with you all the way. And so this sounds a lot like empowerment, man. Empowerment back to the people. And I love where you're going with this. Yeah. Is there any part of your principles in which you don't agree with? Actually,
yes, which is it took me a while to actually understand what that meant and how it applied to me. But there are a lot of things that were instilled in me in childhood, growing up, high school, college, military. Like there's certain things I cannot get away from. And just like I was saying, a lot of people don't trust in themselves. I hate the fact that sometimes I second guess myself. That self-doubt, that maybe I'm not that good. You know what I mean? There's so many other ways in which you can self-doubt yourself by physically not doing anything. You know what I mean? I believe a lot of people don't do these things physically just because of that simple thought. You know what? I'm not that good. I don't have this. I don't have that. You know what I mean? And there are also a lot of things, I do believe that my overall mentality, and the reason I say that and what I mean by that is there's so many habitual actions that I take. There's so many habitual phrases I say. And I understand, the power of the tongue is very strong. So is the power of the thought. And my thoughts, when I let them slip away from me and I catch myself thinking that negative thought, I'm one of those type of people, as soon as the thought comes, reject it. But I keep wondering, why do I have these thoughts? You know what I mean? And then I spend so much time thinking about the thought, and all of that time could have been used wisely. I could have been, instilling positivity in another person. And it's great to reflect on it and to learn, but there are a lot of things that I think do hinder me, and I really don't know how to stop them, but I am learning every day.
Yeah, we all are learning.
Right.
and like
just
today, like I found how
I'm human. I'm perfect.
Yeah,
but it's
man, I really love how your views are shaped here. Now, were there any particular people, things, like books or anything that like help form your opinion here?
Oh yes. Namely, I would like to say there was one organization. As a youth, I was involved. I was a member of, and I'm actually a part of the Alumni Association now. It was an organization called the Racine Youth Leadership Academy, the RYLA. Now it's called the Young Leaders Academy. But it was basically a program to help at-risk youth to basically learn more of the subjects, more of the type of things that will get you past this what's a great word for it? Not so average life. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, even if they didn't grow up in the hood or they didn't have both parents, they might have, just hung out with the wrong type of people. There's so many things that fall on you that you don't have a choice about. And this program, it took, back then it was just for boys. Now it's co-ed. But it took us in. It made sure that at school we were achieving. They had so many study programs, and they also taught classes. You know what I mean? They had so many resources for us, and so many positive people surrounding us, so many positive things for us to do. They gave us another spice of life. They took us places, showed us things, and they made it clear that this is the reward for doing great, for being great, for reaching out to your brothers. And the director of that program, his name is Ahmad Kawi. He is actually right now the program director of the entire YMCA, well just in Racine, and he's also the COO of the YMCA right now. And he's still heading the Alumni Association along with Zach Hidar. He was another person instrumental in my life. Carrie Vobita. She does a lot in human resources and social services. She does so much for the youth in Racine and in Wisconsin also. But those were three people who greatly changed my life, and I mean in a major way. The way I speak, the way I handle myself, the way I care for things and other people, they were the ones who taught me a lot of that. I won't say all of it, but if it were not for the Racine Youth Leadership Academy, I would not be who I am and where I am, and I thank them, deeply and holistically. And also, I have to say music. I don't want to keep being cliche and running back to the music, but that music is. I remember sleeping as a kid and having a bad dream, and then I'd hear a song, and it's like the entire dream changed. And I wake up and the song was on. I'd go listen to the song over and over and over. That was my happiness. That's what I grasped onto. I've been through so much, and especially as a kid, which is weird. I've been through more negative situations before I reached the age of 8 than, besides, close encounters overseas, and just being a young, wild, immature, teenager out here doing those type of things. But it was rough. It was so rough, and I had that to hold on to. So I would say the RYLA, music, and of course, my battle buddies. We kept it together. Battle buddy is a term for those non-military people. Battle buddy is a term you use for your comrades, your brothers and sisters in arms. We kept it together over there, man. We washed each other. We did what we had to do. So I would say those are three things that were very instrumental, besides great parenting, besides constant parenting, besides good discipline from parenting. You know what I mean? You can't leave out the reason you're here, which are mom and dad, And there were so many other people who came into my life and took up that role also. But, I would say the strong parenting foundation mixed with the programs that I've been through. And, I was also a member of the original NAACP Youth Council Racine chapter. I got to go to the national convention in Florida that year when I was 13. I met Julian Bond, and just to go out and do something like that. And that was made possible partially through the RYLA, and just to go out and do something like that, to go see, I've never been on a plane before. I was a young kid, to go see a brand new state, to see all these people, people of all colors, both genders, just to see these people coming together, doing these things, enjoying life, actually trying to change something, even though I didn't understand fully what was trying, what they were trying to change. It's just the experience itself. So, there's a lot of things that play into that.
That's awesome. Now, what would you recommend or suggest to people who can seek out those type of programs, or they're a little slow to, catching on to some of the things that, that could, impact change in their lives, or help them, so to speak, cross over?
Well, I would say, which will be the fourth thing I was going to bring up, but I knew it would come up. One thing, of course, books. As has been said a billion times, it's going to be said a billion more times. Books, because for one, what your brain does while reading, I'm not going to go over that. I'm not a full, biologist or whatnot, but the chemical reactions that happen in your brain, what that does to you while you're reading, for one, reading takes you away from anything negative and only brings you to a positive place. That state of mind, to understand that first, which most people don't, that is the key right there. Then to actually learn, like one book, which a lot of people, they say, how has this book changed your life? It was The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee. For one, it's not a book about a fighting style. It's his philosophies. And Bruce Lee was a very, very smart man, and there's plenty of books that deal in the same subjects, and his main subject was pretty much, it was to make the self more than the self, so to speak. It was to, and what I think he was getting at, which he didn't even realize he was getting at before his life was shortly ended, was accessing the divinity in yourself, which I want so many people to do, because once you do that, oh my God, it's an amazing feeling. So books. Any type of book really, but read some nonfiction, some type of history. Read about someone who's done some great things, or read about someone who is just basically trying to give you a guideline on how to do great things. Books. That's what I would give to the people.
Yeah. Man, that's huge, man. And then it's funny you bring up Bruce Lee. Man, I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan.
So am I, bro. I know.
Yeah, and thinking about what Bruce Lee did, he really definitely changed the lives of a lot of people. And he definitely started a movement, and he got people involved more in self-development. Realistically, though,
that is what I wanted.
And I'm getting to that. But how could you change or slightly alter the way people think and conduct themselves, using the same principles that you follow?
How so? Well, I believe it will come by my main mission. What I want to do is I want to shed light. And by light, I mean truth. Because that's one thing, even with all the materials available, there's not much of the grand truth. And what I mean by grand truth is who we are, and I don't mean just, people of color or Caucasians or, any one race or any one gender. I mean who we are, period, because it took me a long time to grasp this concept too. No nation really knows their history. And if you know where you come from, that's an empowering feeling when you actually know the hundreds of thousands or, whatever you believe, you have to know that, humans have been here for quite some time. When you can actually look back or whatever you have to do to go access that information, when you can see that and you understand how hard it was to actually get here, and when you know that and then you see the present state we're in, that truth, it will make so many mad. It will make so many mad. But what it will do ultimately is it will open people's eyes and it will empower people to basically get back to that. Because when they see what it was like, before we had all these material things, we had more spiritual type of things. There was more substance in the world. And that's one thing I want to put truth out there. And how I'm going to do that is by first, of course, getting people self-sufficient, getting them autonomous, getting them to learn like, hey, I have everything I need and more to care for the whole world. The whole world. So if all I have to do is care for my family, I'm going to teach these people how to care for their families. I'm going to teach my family how to care for my family. It's going to start a chain reaction, but that truth is needed. You don't want to just keep teaching people something with lies in their head. You don't want to just keep giving people all these great tools when they're blocking them because they don't understand them. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these tools, you can only use these tools if you're free from falsehoods, if you're free from all these misconceptions and predisposed things that are set on the mind. You have to free yourself from that in order to grow. It's like a big weight that's just weighing down on you. You want to stand up, but you can't. Get that weight off. Stand up. Then move around, help other people lift the weight off. Help them stand up. Then you start running. Then you start jumping. You start climbing. And before you know it, we'll fly. You never know.
Yeah, man, and I'm telling you, you are preaching to the choir right now. I definitely agree with spiritual freedom, freedom from political, chains and just everything that just restrict the person, man. So this topic is important, man. So how is it viewed amongst your peers in your social atmosphere?
How am I viewed among my peers?
Yes.
This is the true perception I see. These are the messages I get. People love my demeanor. They love that I'm so helping, so calm, but I don't think they actually understand why. You know what I mean? I think that I am one of the people who, for lack of better words or phrases, are being slept on. You know what I mean? I don't think people really truly understand that I'm not just trying to make you feel good. I'm trying to make you do good. I'm trying to make you good. That's what I want. I want them to view more of, and a lot of the reason being is because for some reason when people see another person or they come into contact and they interact, there's always this feeling of one's inferior, one's superior. You know what I mean? And that I don't know why that is, but for some reason, a lot of people, once you start speaking on certain subjects and certain topics, they shy away from it because they think you're trying to project your own views on them or this, and that, or they get confused with why you're actually doing it. So I would say my peers, they view me as this knowledgeable, great, this humble man. But for some reason, they don't always soak in the message that I try to give. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons being is because truth. A lot of things I speak on, I always tell people before I say anything, this is my opinion based on things I've learned. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, when you try to tell them that, it's just like I said, there's so many misconceptions, so many lies. It's just rolling around in their heads. They don't actually connect with that. So I want my peers to actually view me as just a ray of truth, a ray of light. But for the moment, I would say I just have a great acceptance, a really positive acceptance. And that I can deal with for now, but one day it must change.
Well, that's definitely good. And I tell you this much, the Transform You audience, are very accepting, and they definitely feel where you're coming from right now. Like, that's the type of atmosphere that we create here.
That's great.
So you're home,
I
buddy.
hope that you won't interact with everyone.
Yeah. So we got time for like one more question.
Okay.
And actually, I'm going to throw in a bonus question too. Okay. So here's the question. With gender and race highly promoted right now in the media, and it seems like they created like a division. Now, how should this topic be viewed and approached when thinking about the different genders and races?
Okay, you broke up a little bit, but I believe I'm following you. This is one thing I believe on gender and race, and I'm pretty sure this can be applied to any topic that comes down to gender or race. Now, each race is here. Okay, you can't, no matter how bad you want to get rid of anybody or what you think is imperfect about each race or any race, they are here. Okay, one thing we need to do is stop trying to prove that one is better than the other, which comes from racism and such things. Try to prove that one is worse than the other, those type of things. We don't see true equality. Just as I was stating earlier. Every human being has the same amount of divinity they can access. Now, there may be, depending on case by case, some men are stronger than women, some women are stronger than men. But let me shed this little light on you. In, say, Africa, who were the birthers of modern civilization, the woman held the birthright to the throne. Not a lot of people know that. The man would have to marry her to become pharaoh. The queen, she ruled the armies. She ruled the land. Right. She made sure everyone in the villages and the cities and in the ziggurats and pyramids, she made sure everyone ate. She made sure all the children were learning about astrology and alchemy and hermeticism. You know what I mean? So that's just one example I bring up when people try to say, hey, men are stronger and smarter than women. Now, if you know just as well as I know, it's person by person. I don't think that there should be anything that separates what a man can do from what a woman can do, what a man can think from what a woman can think. Besides the obvious biological things, that come with anatomy, no man can breastfeed, but that's not a huge topic that people debate over. Such thing as the presidency and whatnot. If you have a strong-minded, qualified individual who can lead and protect, let them lead, let them protect. Stop thinking, oh, this woman should be in the kitchen. I know men who can cook better than women. I know women who don't cook, I know men who are stay-at-home dads. Women who can fix generators and radiators on cars and, do all sorts of things. I know women who can go to the gym, lift 300 pounds, like literally 300 pounds, like no exaggeration. And then there's men, who dive into a lot of feminist subjects, you know what I mean? And they're not so much the masculine, manly man that you think of, but I think that's a perversion of words between what people think masculine and feminine are. Feminine people are just receptive people. They're more rooted in the material, and masculine people, they're drivers, they're more conscious-minded. It's more of a take order, take charge, be direct type of feeling, and everyone is born with that, man and woman. So we're all born with essentially all of the same things besides anatomy, which really don't come into factor. It's what you train. It's like they say you have 4 characters to you. I forget what the 4 characters are, but there's like the wolf, the sheep, the something. Whichever one will grow is the one you'll feed. The same thing can be applied to this concept. If you want to be a homemaker, then you're going to be a homemaker, man or woman. That doesn't make you any more of a man, any less of a man. And the same thing with race. So many races come from each other. So many races are produced because so many races mix together. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. We all have the same 3 trillion cells. We grow different to different sizes, but our bodies on the inside are exactly the same. The outside is just a physiological factor. You know what I mean? Well, not a physiological. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. That's just basically a hereditary, a thing of your family, your blood, the cells that are flowing within you. That comes out. and depending on where your people were from and what time they came, that's the only difference between color. Pretty much we all come from this big rock, if you will, or this ball of dirt. We all sprung up out of this, and, you know, or if you want to say Adam and Eve, we all come from Adam and Eve. Either or, you know, we are all the same. You know, no two animals are alike, even though humans can't tell two male lions from each other. But, you know, I bet you two lions couldn't tell two human men from each other who were the same color, same race, same height. You know what I mean? Right. It's perception, and it's because we've been filled with so many lies and whatnot. But, you know, I don't think there should be anything that divides us except for when it comes to biological factors. That is the only thing that does truly divide us, and that only comes into effect when it comes to anatomy. The only difference between anyone should be man or woman, and you know, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Wow, man. Yeah, I feel very blessed right now to be on the phone with you, because you definitely giving me some nuggets too. You know, so this is great. You know, this is great, man. You know, this is what Transform You is all about. You know, bringing people, you know, who have a, you know, a broader, you know, but yet spiritual and mental conscious about just what's important.
Exactly.
You know, so, man, so here's my last question for you.
Okay.
So the question is this. You know, how do you feel about, you know, today's election, you know, with the presidential election?
Whoa, last question, and you threw the, oh my God, because this is the, the one where I speak for hours. Oh my God, politics. Okay. I don't know where to start with this, honestly. I really do not. And this is the reason being. I believe this. Now, most people, well, no, not most, all of the people you see on the television, on the mainstream television, when you turn on that tube and you go flicking through the channels trying to see who's running for president, those are true politicians, okay? I don't believe that any politician should be in a position of power over any group of people. I believe that citizens, true citizens, should be in the position to where they help make better choices, you know, and that's what I believe. I believe that these politicians, you know, right, the ones who are not puppets, what they do is they just force things on us, you know, they come up with a few options for us to choose from, all of which serve them best, and I think that's just how it goes. I don't really know where to go with it next, because I'm already thinking of how to branch off. But what I believe is we need more people like yourself. You know, me being a very close friend, knowing your background, knowing the struggles you went through, knowing where you are now, and I promise you, bro, I can see where you're going. I know all the good you've done, all the people you bring together, you know, keeping your mind busy in so many businesses here and there and in so many organizations and, you know, things like that. People who actually get out and do. Those are the type of people who should be our quote-unquote politicians. I want to get away from that word, but we need citizens. That's what I believe. These people I see on TV, oh, my God. I don't agree with it at all. I want people who know what it's like on both sides of the fence. Who know what it's like to be on the fence looking at both sides of the yard. That's what should be happening. Those are the type of people who should be on those ballots. Those are the type of people who should be petitioning for candidacy, and you are one of those type of people. Now just look at yourself, you know, just think. Those are the type of people, not these people who, you know, they're born in Greenwich, Connecticut, and they go to these fancy schmancy schools separated from the rest of the world, or even, you know, if they don't have that type of life, they're so separated from the real troubles, the real problems, you know what I mean? And by being separated from it and trying to fix it, you just create more problems, create bigger problems. You know, we need people who know what to do. Not only, you know, you will only know what to do if you've been there, if you've had the experience, if you've had the knowledge, if you had some piece of it. These people, they just play for big government, pretty much. That's what I believe, you know. And I'm saying that's my opinion, you know. That's what I believe. They're not here for the people. They don't know the people. I've never brushed elbows with anyone I see, I mean, besides you and the few people from Milwaukee and Racine who've ran, I don't know any of these other people, and it seems like every policy that these politicians put out, it does not serve me or my family well. My children cannot grow fully in a social climate and the economic climate in which they're putting down on us. So as far as that, I'm going to try to wrap it up right here because this is the bonus question. Like I'm going to, state the first phrase I said. I believe that we need citizens, not politicians, in office. We need people who know what it's like to actually change. You know what I mean? These people, they're going off of old policies that don't serve America anymore. And then you see the same thing in other countries. We need people who know, that pretty much, point blank period. People who've been there with the experience, with the knowledge, with the tools, and who believe in themselves just as much as the people believe in them, and also believe in the people just as much as the people believe in them. That's the only way I believe things will truly change, and that is the only way I believe we will have a successful, in any type of successful election. And without that, without the the right people, basically petitioning and doing whatever it takes to get there. Without that, we're just going to keep getting more W's. I didn't want to throw any names in there, but we're going to keep getting more. It's just pretty much that's how I feel about that.
Man, I love it, man. Like you just really just gave us a lot. You gave us more than what. I knew you was. That's why I had to ask you. And I greatly appreciate the kind words, my friend. You're
welcome. You're welcome. I thank you for this opportunity to actually come into a place where I can actually speak on these subjects and have open eyes and ears. Well, not so much eyes unless they're online, but, open ears, because that's a problem too. Most people, if it's not a subject that they've been pushed on BET or any of these other, TV stations, and they don't really soak it in. You know what I mean? And I thank you truly for this opportunity.
Yeah, this is unedited, baby. Yes. So before we let you go, if the people wanted to get in touch with you, what is the best way to contact you?
Well, there are a few ways. There's no best way. I like to be available at any time for all people. But, seeing as I do have a multitude of jobs and activities, the best way, the easiest way, I would say, is by email. And you can reach me at my personal email. That's VANTAE17@yahoo.com. If you want to speak to me about anything musical or, anything of the arts, you can reach me at my business email, which is vt.utmos@gmail.com. There's no T on the end. Again, the acronym stands for Universal Thinking Minds of Sound. If people ever forget, just think that. So again, VANTAE17@yahoo.com. That's my personal email. And then my business email is vt.utmos@gmail.com. And I have a multitude of pages on Facebook, for certain different things I do. I have an MMA page, I am also a professional level martial artist. I have so many pages. We have an actual Utmost page that we moderate, and the website is coming real soon for the business I was telling you about, Modern Day Pharaohs. That'd be a great way to reach me, because when I start that, I'm gonna put a lot of my time into that. It's gonna be kids, work, business, in that order, day in, day out.
Wow, man, we look forward to getting treated with all the things you got coming out new, and just connecting with you, man. Start with me first. I'll be first in line.
You already know, bro. I'm coming to you. Man. As a matter of fact, I'm coming to you.
Okay. Yeah, so we'd like to have you on again, man, in the future. The invitation is here for you.
Oh, well, I'll be back before you know it, bro. I'll be back before you know it.
Okay. Is there any last words you want to leave with the audience out there?
Yes, I'm gonna keep it short and brief. One thing I want to say is, I want everybody to just, for once, just stop everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. just one day, for a moment, a brief moment, go out and actually reach out to somebody. Go to somebody, a stranger, a friend, a family member, love, any type of love, whoever, even if it's an animal, just really reach out. Like, people don't understand how sending that vibe out works wonders in this world, especially at the present state our world is in. I need people to understand the importance of embrace. You know what I mean? The body, I'm gonna throw this scientific fact out there, then I'm gonna get off. The body produces a bioelectromagnetic field, and depending on your state of mind, it outreaches, you know, several feet, several yards, several whatever. When you put that vibe out, it always comes back. Not only does it come back, but where it goes, it positively changes. Reach out. You know, there's so many things that we can do if we just simply reach out. Clear your mind. Don't need anything to do. Don't feel like there's somewhere you have to be. Stop in the present moment, here and now, which is what we have. The past is gone. Future may never come. Here and now, reach out together. We need togetherness. That's what's going to start everything. And it's so simple of a concept in order to reach all those intricate, you know, things that we need to elaborate on. So that's one thing I just want to say. Reach out truly with your heart, with your mind, not just with your arms. Don't just reach out, touch somebody. I mean, reach out. Give yourself to someone. No words even need to be spoken. Just we need togetherness. We need unity and solidarity now more than ever. And those are my final words. Other than that, I'd just like to say thank you to all the viewers, all the listeners. Once again, thank you, Minister Marcus Hart, great friend of mine, battle buddy, fellow musician, martial artist, everything. Oh my God, this has been a great experience. Just these last 30 minutes. I really truly
we brothers in arms, man.
Right. And I appreciate everyone for listening, and I appreciate you also, not just for having me, bro, but for what you do. I appreciate the things you do. You instilled a lot of this in me also. We've had plenty of talks. You know, we're going to brush shoulders on the business when the time is ready, but thank you. Thank the viewers. Thank the organizations that represent you, the organizations you represent, and, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. I took my time, and thank you one last time.
Okay, you're more than welcome, man. You know, so, yeah, you heard how to reach out to him. You heard the interview. Very powerful. Man, I'm inspired now. I'm ready to go hug somebody. Like, seriously.
Let me throw the last one out, because this may confuse a lot of people. If you are trying to reach me via social network, my Facebook page is VT, you know, capital VT, middle name Utmost, UTMOS, last name Johnson. And the reason being, that's a stage name, an entertainment name. That's my surname. I was born Jovantae Johnson. But, you know, I was adopted by my brother's dad, so, you know, I am Jovantae Phifer. But, yeah, because a lot of people, I've come into that in the past. Like, I didn't see you, but I saw this guy, VT Johnson. I couldn't find Jovantae Phifer. Well, yeah, VT Utmost Johnson via social network. I don't do too much on social network because of time constraints. Like I said, I got a lot going on. But Facebook, that's a good way to reach out. It's been working for years. That's the main one I use. So, yeah, I'm going to throw that last little tidbit. Thank you once again, bro.
Okay. Well, thanks, man. Okay, my friends. Until next time, many blessings, peace, and love. Remember to embrace someone, and let's transform together.